Hi, I'm Scott Swenson. We've got another stock truck here for you today. This is a 2024 Peterbilt 537. It's got a PX9, 350 horsepower, 1050 foot-pounds of torque. As you can see, it's chrome and aluminum from front to back. We've got the chrome bumper, chrome grille. We've got fog lights down here as well in the bumper. On the grille, we've got a couple of strobe lights. These work in conjunction with one on the rear head of the tank. Really nice safety feature for those roadside deliveries. Stainless steel, aluminum exterior sun visor. We've got the aluminum air horns and covers. Bright finish. Heated mirrors with remote control on those as well. From the driver's door, really nice option to adjust the mirrors without having to get out of the truck. Aluminum wheels, aluminum steps, aluminum fuel tank, stainless fenders, fender brackets, stainless deck, lower deck, stainless oversized meter box. This truck is just absolutely gorgeous. Let's jump in the cab and take a look at a few of the features. So on the door here, we've got controls for the power locks, power windows, your power mirrors. Really nice to be able to adjust the mirrors without getting out of the truck. Moving across, we've got the factory switches for the work lights, 2 on the lower rear corners of the cab, 2 on the rear head of the tank, really nice. And the strobes, 2 on the front hood that we saw, and then 1 on the rear head. Moving across here, we've just got our exhaust brake, and then some spare switches here. Down here, we've got our rear differential lock, concert class radio, Bluetooth, all that good stuff, AM, FM, weather band, USB. Over on the steering wheel too, it's really nice. Peterbilt has now integrated controls onto the steering wheel itself, so it's more like a car now. They're really starting to get some of those features into the trucks. Down below, we've got our push button selector switch for the Allison. Got a nice little spot here, 2 USB charger ports, 2 12-volt charger ports for all the whatever you're using in your truck, GPS, charging a lap pad, anything like that. It's really nice to have extras in the cab here. This truck has a 4-function remote. This has reel in, reel out. So you would push this to help unroll the reel as you're walking out. It really makes the pull a lot easier, especially when you're traipsing through snow or anything like that. PTO, throttle, and e-stop. PTO and throttle, really nice. You pull the hose out to the customer's tank, you kick the PTO on right from there, kick the throttle up as the tank fills, you kick the throttle down, shut the PTO off. Your pump's running a lot less, but it's also nice for the drivers because they use it. They'll carry it with them. By law, they have to have it with them during the delivery. A lot of times when we see it's all you're required to have is a single function remote with the emergency shutdown. So if all you have is that, the drivers don't use them, so they generally live right on the dashboard. You get pulled over by the DOT, battery's dead because nobody's touched it in a year and a half, and you get a nice ticket for that. So this is really nice. It's a good option for the drivers, but also it gives them a reason to carry it with them on every delivery. Down here we've got a custom-made printer stand. They're all made custom to each individual cab. So this is rock solid. It's not going to be shaking and rattling as you're driving down the road. Got a ticket holder here just to help your driver stay organized. Like I've said before, we see a lot of, might be a milk crate, wooden box, or the dash just covered with tickets. It helps them stay organized, nice and clean. I don't know if you noticed, but this is much roomier. We are on a new Peterbilt 537 as opposed to the old 337s. So we've got a lot better visibility in here, a lot more room in the cab. I don't know, any of you that have had the older Peterbilts, it's really tight in the cab. So this gives your drivers a lot more room, a lot more headroom all around. Visibility, everything's better in this. Lastly, up here in the cab, we've got the monitor for the backup camera. That's tied into the reverse circuit. You put it in reverse. The camera itself is on the rear head of the tank, so it shows you directly behind the truck. Really nice safety feature. It completely eliminates the blind spot behind the truck. We mount it over here on this column because it's right by your mirrors. So instead of, in your pickup truck or your car, you've got it down in the center of the dash. With this, they're backing down driveways all day long. They only look in 2 spots. One spot they can see down the passenger side in the rear of the truck. The other spot they see down the driver's side. It's just a really nice location for this. I think that's about it in here. Let's take a look at the side of the truck and a few options out there. Again, on the side of the truck, we just bright finish mirrors, aluminum wheels, aluminum steps, aluminum battery box cover. This truck does has a battery isolation switch under here. All this new trucks and whatnot, it seems to always be a draw on the battery. So summer months when you're letting it sit for a week or 2 or 3, you definitely want to use the battery isolation switch to help so you don't kill your batteries. Aluminum fuel tank. We've got our work lights. We had talked about these. 2 on the lower rear corners of the cab, 2 on the rear head of the truck. Completely illuminates the sides of the truck and the rear of the truck. Anywhere they're walking or working in the vicinity of the truck, it's going to be lit up for those late night deliveries in the winter. Especially when there's snow and ice on the ground, it's really nice. It's a great safety feature. Chalk block holder on the side here, spring loaded, nice and easy to use, easy to re-secure them. You don't have a bungee cord across them or anything like that. It's just a flip of the rail here. Rubber in the front and back keeps them from rattling as you're going down the road. Aluminum fenders. Stainless fender brackets. We've got the aluminum wheels. We've got a stainless spacer here. So we set the mud flaps back so you can't trap them between a snowbank and tear them off as you're backing up. Because we set them back, we've got an aluminum spacer here to help keep the road grime off the back of the deck. Let's head to the back of the deck and take a look at a few options there. All right, on the back of the truck here, starting up top, we've got that strobe light we talked about earlier when we were in the front of the truck. So we've got 2 strobes on the front grille, 1 on the rear here. Really nice for those roadside deliveries, just to grab people's attention as they're coming up on you from either direction. Very nice. Below that's the camera for that monitor we were talking about, the backup camera monitor in the cab that we've got right on the pillar there. So that'll come on with the reverse circuit. Anytime you put it in reverse, show the back of the truck, completely eliminating the blind spot that normally would be here when they're backing down driveways. The 2 work lights work in conjunction with the 2 on the rear corners of the cab we just looked at, lighting up the entire workspace back here, while those light up the sides of the truck, keeping everything safe. You can see where you're working, where you're walking. On this side of the truck here, let's just touch on, we've got the recessed float gauge too. Normally you're going to see an eyebrow over that and it's going to be sticking out from the tank. Most of the time with those eyebrows, you see the rust running right down the tank. This is recessed. It won't be sheared off. It's not going to be rusting running down the tank. It's a really nice solution to that. Over here, we've got an oversized stainless steel meter box. You can do repairs on the meter without removing the box. You've got plenty of room in there. We also stow our hose end nozzle in there. Keeps it out of the weather, clean and dry in those messy days and messy months of the winter. But it's nice and simple to use. Just grab it, pull it out, throw it right back in. A lot of times we'll see they'll have some kind of threaded device here on the rear deck. You get to a stop, you've got to unthread it, thread it back on when you're done. Not with this. You open the meter box, everything's clean and dry in there. Easy in, easy out. We've got a LC meter with an LCR IQ register. This is their new register for the future. Very simple to use, very intuitive. You want to start the delivery, you hit the button that says start. You want to print the ticket, you hit the button that says print. It's nice and simple. It's got a huge display here. You can see the actual gallons from quite a ways away. It's got a sidebar down the side. You can configure however you want it. So if you want it to show the temperature of the propane all the time, the gallons per minute that the truck is pumping at, it'll always read out right on the side of this display. It's a really nice product. Also in here, we've got a little tray. You can keep your gloves in there, any fittings you use, stuff you use on a regular basis throughout the day. It helps keep it handy. We see a lot of stuff just packed in here, bouncing around the back meter box, so this gives you drivers a little way to be organized. Also on the side here, we've got a little spray bottle holder for leak check soap. Keeps it nice and handy. In the summer months, almost always used for bee spray. Keeps that nice and close at hand for your drivers when they have an issue. Over here, we've got a Hannay polished aluminum hose reel, spec for 250 feet of 1-inch hose, comes standard with 150 feet of 1-inch hose. So as you see, it's over-spec'd. We got a lot of extra room in here. Those winter months, your drivers are doing 40+ deliveries. They're hustling. They're not railing this up perfectly. If it's not oversized, you really don't have a lot of extra room on it, so you need to roll it up carefully. they can hustle with this. Just throw it on there. It's not going to be lopping over the edge of the drum and getting caught between the drum and the frame and nicking it. It's not going to be rubbing against the deck, shortening the hose life. It just makes things a whole lot easier on your driver and the equipment. This also has the stainless steel guide master on it. So if you don't have this, you've got to guide the hose back in with your gloves. Getting on your gloves, anything you drag that hose through, mud, dog droppings, whatever it is. This is nice also on the back of the driver. It goes onto that reel nice and easy. You can guide it on however you want. You can throw it on quickly, you can reel it on perfectly, whatever you want to do. It makes it nice and simple. Also over here, you'll see we've got this disc on the spray fill. So this disc has a sensor behind it. It's tied into the Allison transmission. Allison has a function called range inhibit. So if this sensor doesn't sense that the cap is back on, it will not let you put it in gear and pull away from the loading rack. It's a really nice safety. It's probably the most common accident we see. In the winter months, it can get cold and windy, and it takes a little while to load these trucks. Your drivers should be back here watching things, but occasionally they might jump in that cab for a few minutes to get heated up, might get a call from the wife or girlfriend or whatever it is. It's easy to get distracted when you're spending that much time loading the truck. It is by far the most common accident we see. Somebody forgets to unhook and they pull away from the plant. This completely eliminates this. They cannot pull away from the plant until they put the cap back on. Also, you'll see we've got the lowered stainless steel deck. Stainless deck, stainless bumper cover. It's lowered normally. How most trucks are built, they'll have a prefabricated deck. The cabin chassis comes in. You've got the chassis rail coming out from behind the rear axle to take that prefabricated deck, set it right on top of the chassis rails. When you do that, everything's up higher. Your liquid fill lines are up higher. Your meter box is higher. Meter, your guide master on your hose reel. You're working everything up higher above your center of gravity. With the lower deck, everything's right within your center of gravity. Whether you're loading the truck, working at the meter, reeling in the hose, everything's within your center of gravity. So not only that, we've got the lowered angled fills. So this makes it really easy to fill, and that really comes, I mean, it plays the biggest role in the winter. When it's cold and those 2-inch hoses at the plant, they don't flex at all. It makes it nice and easy. Just right under your shoulder. If you bring that hose up, it's at the right height, right angle. The Acme's will thread right on. It makes it nice and easy. I've just seen so many drivers struggling with that thing up over their shoulder, just trying to get the Acme's lined up just right so they can thread it on. This makes it nice and simple. It makes your driver's life a lot easier. They're working off a lower deck. They've got lower fills. Everything they're doing is just easier for them. I think that's it at the back of the truck. Let's head to the side and take a look at a couple more. Again, we've got the lowered stainless steel deck, stainless steel spacer with the mud flap set back, stainless fenders, stainless fender brackets. Moving up here, you'll see we've got a hole cut in the side of the tank rail. That's so you can see the main valve. A lot of times if the truck isn't pumping, the first thing the driver does is check to see if the main valve's opening. You do not want them climbing under the truck when it's running by any means. So with this hole in the tank rail, they can just peek in there. They don't have to climb under the truck, especially when it's rainy, wintry, snow on the ground. You don't want to be climbing under the truck. And if it's running, you don't ever want to be under that truck. So that makes it so they can just peek in and see if it's open or not from a safe position. In between the frame rails, we've got an oversized PTO shaft. It is straight as an arrow. Universals last. We see them all the time installed at all kinds of ungodly angles, and everything just goes much more quickly. If it's straight and true, it lasts much, much longer. Also over here, we've got the vertical exhaust, stainless cover on it. We've got grab handles on both sides, aluminum steps, the aluminum cover to the after treatment device, aluminum wheels. We've got the work lights here again that we talked about on the other side, illuminating the side of the truck at night. Stainless cover on the DEF tank. This truck is just stainless steel, chrome, and aluminum all the way around. It is an absolutely gorgeous truck. 350 horsepower, 34.99 gallon tank. It's got plenty of power, plenty of holding capacity. It's ready, built, deliver, gas, all ready to go. If you have any questions, give us a call. 800-252-5467. We'll talk to you soon.